Do you know what is terrarium? It is an artificial enclosure for keeping small house plants. Do you want to make your own terrarium? You can if you learn it. Let's make your own terrarium. I teach you how can you make your own terrarium. Fill 1/4 of a big jar with soil and press it well. Put a thin layer of humus on top of it. Plant the largest plant first and then arrange the smaller ones around them. Spray the arrangement with water and close the jar. The water that evaporates from the leaves and soil condense and fall back in the form of drops of water. It's very simple. By this following procedure, you can make your own terrarium in your house. When you think of water, what images come to your mind? You think of river, the waterfall, the pitter-patter of raindrops, water in your taps. Children love to float paper boats in rain puddles. By noon, the puddles vanish. Where does the water go? The sun's heat causes evaporation of water into the vapor. When the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms clouds. From there, it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow, or sleet. The process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between ocean, atmosphere, and land, it is known as water cycle. Our earth is like a terrarium. The same water that existed centuries ago still exists today. The water used to irrigate a field in Haryana may have flowed down the Amazon River 100 years ago. The major sources of fresh water are the rivers, ponds, springs, and the glaciers. The ocean bodies and the sea contain salty water. The water of the oceans is salty or saline as it contains a large amount of dissolved salts. Most of the salt is sodium chloride or the common table salt that you eat. If I want to ask you what are the major components of water cycle? Condensation, precipitation, runoff, and evaporation. These are the major components of water cycle. And by this process, the balance of water is exist in our earth. You know, this is world map. And this map shows major seas, lakes, and rivers. Do you know what is salinity? Salinity is the amount of salt in grams percent in 1000 grams of water. The average salinity of the oceans is 35 parts per thousand. Do you know what is Dead Sea? Dead Sea in Israel has a salinity of 340 grams per liter of water. And the most interesting thing is that swimmers can float in it because the increased salt content makes it dense. Let's see the distribution of water bodies. We all know that 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. If there is more water than land on the Earth, why do so many countries face water scarcity? Is all the water on the Earth available to us? See the table. Out of 100%, 97.3% is saline water. And very few amount is fresh water that we can consume. This is potable water. Due to lack of our environmental awareness, we pollute the fresh water as well as the saline water. If we doing the same, billions of people will fight for water. Another world war may be happen due to the water scarcity. So be aware, don't waste the potable water. Save it as much as you can. Let's do an activity. Take 2 liters of water. Let it represent the total water on the surface of the earth. Measure out 12 spoons of water from these vessels into the another bowl. The water that is left behind in the vessel represents the salty water found in the oceans and the seas. The water is obviously not fit for consuming. It is saline, contains salts. The 12 spoons of water that was taken in a bowl is the total amount of fresh water on the earth. This figure shows us the distribution of this fresh water. See for yourself how much water can actually be used by you. There is two important question for you. Why is water important for us? Of course, water is important for us because without water we cannot survive. We cannot wash our clothes. We cannot irrigate. We cannot wash our house. We cannot wash the vegetables. We cannot cook. We cannot live without water. So this is why the another name of water is called life. And the second question is that suggest some ways in which water can be conserved. Number 1 in your home and number 2 in your school. Let's answer the first segment of the second question. In your home, by reducing the amount of water used for bathing, for washing the clothes, for washing the vegetables, and so on. And the answer of the second segment of the second question is that in your school, if you see any leakage of water pipe, then you should immediately inform to the headmaster. After filling the water bottle, you should immediately close the tap tightly. Otherwise, the wastage of water will occur. By this process in your home and in your school, you can conserve water. Do you know which date is called World Water Day? March 22 is celebrated as World Water Day, when the need to conserve water is reinforced in different ways. Let's talk about the ocean circulation. There is something magical about walking bare feet on the seashore. The wet sand on the beach, the cool breeze, the seabirds, the smell of salt in the air, and the music of the waves, everything is so fascinating. Unlike the calm waters of ponds and lakes, ocean water keeps moving continuously. It is never still. The movements that occur in the oceans can be broadly categorized as waves, tides, and currents. Do you know what is wave and how it is formed? Waves are formed when winds scrape across the ocean surface. The stronger the wind blows, the bigger the waves becomes. Let's talk about what is wave. When you are playing throw ball on the beach and the ball falls into the water, what happens? It is fun to watch how the ball gets washed back into the shore by the waves. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternatively, they are called waves. During a storm, the winds blowing at very high speed from huge waves. These may cause tremendous destruction. An earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or the underwater landslide can shift large amount of ocean water. As a result, a huge tidal wave called tsunami that may be as high as 15 meters is formed. The largest tsunami ever measured was 150 meters high. These waves travel at a speed of more than 700 km per hour. The tsunami of 2004 causes widespread damage in the coastal areas of India. The Indira Point in the Andaman and the Nicobar Island got submerged after the tsunami. Tsunami, the Earth's pandemonium. Tsunami, or the behavior waves struck havoc in the Indian Ocean on the 26 December 2004. The waves was the result of the earthquake that had its epicenter close to the western boundary of Sumatra. The magnitude of the earthquake was 9.0 on a Richter scale. As the Indian plate went under the Burma plate, there was a sudden movement of the seafloor causing the earthquake. The ocean floor was displaced by about 10 to 20 meters and tilt in a downwardly direction. A huge mass of ocean water flowed to fill in the gap that was being created by the displacement. This marked the withdrawal of the water masses from the coastlines of land masses in the South and Southeast Asia. After thrusting of the Indian plate below the Burma plate, the water masses rushed back towards the coastline. Tsunami travel at a speed of about 800 km per hour, comparable to speed of commercial aircraft, and completely washed away some of the islands of Indian Ocean. The Indira Point in the Andaman and Nicobar Island that marked the southernmost point of the India completely submerged. As the wave moved from the earthquake epicenter from Sumatra towards the Andaman Island and Sri Lanka, the wave's length decreases with decreasing depth of the water. The travel speed also declined from 700 to 900 km per hour to less than 70 km per hour. Tsunami waves travel up to a depth of 3 km from the coast, killing more than 10,000 people and affected more than lakhs of houses. In India, the worst affected were the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. While the earthquake cannot be predicted in advance, it is possible to give a 3-hour notice of a potential tsunami. Such early warning systems are in place across the Pacific Ocean but not in the Indian Ocean. Tsunamis are rare in Indian Ocean as the seismic activity is less as compared to Pacific. The tsunami that ravaged the South and Southeast Asian coasts in December 2004 is the most devastating tsunami in the last several hundred years. The large damage caused to life and property was primarily a result of lack of monitoring, the early warning systems, and the knowledge among the coast dwellers of Indian Ocean. The first indication that a tsunami is approaching is the rapid withdrawal of water from the coastal region, followed by destructive wave. When this happened on the coast, instead of people going to high ground, they started assembling at the coast to view the miracle. As a consequence, there was a large casualty of curious onlookers when the gigantic wave, that is tsunami, struck. I will cover the next part of this chapter in another video. If you like this video, please subscribe the channel and give a thumbs up, and also press the bell button. Stay tuned, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you so much.